Hello, Informal. So this is going to be how we do notes from, well, at least the foreseeable future, okay? So you're going to see a lot of the back of my hand, but I just thought this would be easier so you could know exactly what to write down since I'll be using your exact note packet, okay? This next chapter is all about solid figures. Can you guys see this? Ooh, do you guys see like how I can like hold this in my hand? We're going to learn how to find like the surface area and volume of three-dimensional shapes, or like a sphere, right? Like a ball. So that's what we're going to be doing. So it's kind of like what we did last chapter, but instead of it being like a shape just like on our piece of paper, they're like solids. Like I could actually hold them in my hands. Okay? So let's just get started. So let's first start with a definition for a solid. And all we're going to write down is a 3D figure, so something we can hold in our hand. A three-dimensional figure. Now, a polyhedron is just a more specific kind of solid. So a polyhedron is a 3D figure made up of polygons. A 3D figure made up of polygons. So let's review real quick what that means. So remember, a polygon is just a shape made up of straight sides and is closed. So like a sphere is not a polyhedron because it's rounded, right? Whereas like a cube is a polyhedron because it's made up of straight sides and is closed all the way around. Okay? We'll get more into that in just a second. So we have two different types of polyhedra. The first type, we call these prisms. So a prism has two bases, like a top and a bottom, that are exactly the same. So on your notes, it's shaded, but I'll kind of like outline it here. Like, can we agree that this top and this bottom, they're exactly the same? So these are prisms. Maybe you want to put they have two bases. Go like this real quick, guys. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. And we name these. Will you guys put this there for me? We name a prism by its base. So if I wanted to name this prism here, I look at its base shape, which, as we all know, is a rectangle. So this would be a rectangular prism. Now we're done. That's it. We did it. Okay, so that's our first type of polyhedra. Our second type is when we just have one base, and then the other part comes to a point. So for me, like I'm thinking like in Egypt, right? These are called pyramids. So this would be a pyramid, and it only has one base. So if I wanted to outline that, do you guys agree that that shaded base down there is, again, a triangle? So I would call this solid here a triangular pyramid. Perfect. That's that. So prisms have a top and a bottom that are exactly the same, and they're flat. Whereas a pyramid, one part of it comes to a point on the top. So again, think like you're walking in Egypt, right? Pyramids of Egypt. So these are examples of polyhedra. Some examples of solids that are not polyhedra would be those rounded shapes we were kind of mentioning. So this first one looks like a soup can, right? But what's the technical name for a soup can? Well, we know that is a cylinder. That's it, folks. It's a cylinder. This guy here kind of looks like something you'd use to eat ice cream, right? This would be a cone. And then the last one typically kind of looks like a ball, right? but we would call this a, oops, sorry folks, there we go. This would be a sphere. Okay, now let's see if we can put all of this together down here. We are asked, tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. If so, identify the shape of its bases, then name the solid. So we kind of have a few parts here. So let's first decide, is this a polyhedron, this first solid? So remember, polyhedron is the one that's made up of straight sides. So we're looking, right? Do I have any curves going on here? Nope, so yes, it's a polyhedron. Okay, step one. I'm gonna run out of space again. Let me shimmy. That should be enough. Okay, our bases. What would my base be? So we're looking. It gets kind of confusing, right? But think of like the top and the bottom as your base. So if I look, the two that are exactly the same is that top and bottom, and those are triangles, right? So we have triangles as our bases. And if I wanted to name this solid, it would be a triangular prism because I have two bases. It's not coming to a point like this one over here did, right? It's a triangular prism. And now we're good. That's it. Okay, now let's try this guy over here. So decide, tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. This would be, well, let's think, do I have straight sides here? No, right? It's rounded, so we're going to say no, not a polyhedron. But we could, what is its base shape, right? Could we name the base if we just wanted to? But yeah, that's just a circle, so its base would be a circle. And if I wanted to name this solid, what would we call it, you guys? Looks like a soup can, so it is a cylinder. Beautiful. Okay, let's flip the page and see what's in store for us on that second side. Okay, I'm gonna have to move you real quick. Sorry about this if it makes you dizzy. Okay, let's see here. So it says name the polyhedron and count the number of faces and edges. Oh boy. Okay, let's just start with the easy part. Let's name it. So remember, our base is how we name it. So look down here. How many sides does my base have? So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So do you guys remember what a six-sided figure is called? It's a hexagon, right? So this would be a hexagonal. And then since it's coming to a point, it's not flat in both the top and bottom, it's a pyramid. Beautiful. Now count the number of faces and edges. So this isn't the exact same shape, but I just want to show you on here. So a face is this, like the whole side is called a face. An edge are where your faces meet. Okay, so like this would be an edge. This is an edge. This guy right here, edge. But these sides of it are called your faces. So if I look here, let's start with our faces. So think we have the bottom would be 1, and now all the sides that come to that point, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 faces. And now our edges. So those are all of our little lines. There's going to be kind of a lot. So on the bottom we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now all the ones going up to the point B. 7, 8, 9, 10, and those 2 in the back, 11, 12. So we have a nice formula called Euler's formula that helps us determine the number of faces and edges a solid has. And this is what it is. So make sure we get this down right. So F plus, I lied, V plus F, I was getting ahead of myself, equals E plus 2. So the V stands for vertices. The F stands for faces. And the E stands for edges. So now a vertice, we didn't really quite talk about that in this example up here, are where your edges meet. So like there would be one, here would be one, here's one, like kind of the corners of your shape. Or it's a good example is right here. I didn't even notice that, right? Right there where your edges meet, those are vertices. So it says, find the number of vertices of a tetrahedron using Euler's formula. Okay, so let's just start by rewriting our equation here, or our formula. So we're going to have vertices plus faces equals edges plus 2. So we're looking for V because we're looking for the vertices. So let's just drop down that V plus how many faces does this solid have? So I have this front one would be 1. This side guy over here is 2. The one on the back would be 3. And the one on the bottom is 4. So I have 4 faces. Now our edges, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this guy right there, 6. 6 plus 2. And now it's just simple math. We like simple math, right? So we can't do anything here, so let's just drop it down. 6 plus 2 is 8. To get V by itself, how do I get rid of plus 4? Subtract 4. So we're going to end up with 8 minus 4 is 4. So 4 vertices. And now let's just check, because I have a picture so I can just count and see if we did it right. I have 1 here, 2, 3, 4. So we are golden. We did it right. Good job, team. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so it says a cube has 6 faces and 12 edges. Find the number of vertices it has. So again, we're just plugging into our formula. So let's write it out. Vertices plus faces equals edges plus 2. Again, we're looking for vertices, so I'm just going to leave that as V. We're told it has 6 faces. We're told it has 12 edges plus 2. Now if we simplify this right side, I'm going to have 14. To get B by itself, we subtract 6. 14 minus 6 is 8. So we have 8 vertices. And again, we can count on this one, right? Let's just see if we did it right. So if I count all my corners of this cube, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 7 visible ones, but remember, there would be one connecting these sides over here, right? There would be my 8th one back there. Okay. This time we're not even given a picture, so we just have to trust the formula, okay? So it says a prism has 5 faces and 6 vertices. How many edges does it have? Okay, so let's start off with our formula. Vertices plus faces equals edges plus 2. So if I plug in, I have 6 vertices. I have 5 faces. We're looking for how many edges plus 2. If I simplify, 6 plus 5 is 11 equals edges plus 2. We're a little crooked, sorry kids. Why can't I figure this out? There we go. To get E by itself, we subtract 2. So then we have 9 equals edges. So we have 9 edges on this prism. Okay, good work. So that's notes. So keep these out to help you with your homework. And your homework is this, should be the next sheet in your little packet that you got. It's the tan colored one. It looks like this. I'm going to do some problems with you just to get you started, and then you can finish it on your own. So let's just, I'm going to zoom out just a tish here, folks. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so once you're ready, join me. So let's see here. So it says match the solid with its name. So let's just do these 3 because it's just matching and it's quick. So out of these 3, which one is a prism? So remember, a prism has 2 bases. That would be this one, right? Because I have a triangle on the top and a triangle on the bottom. So this would be A. A pyramid has 1 base and a point on top. So out of these 2, which one has 1 base with a point? 3. And then we obviously know a cylinder is just a fancy word for like a soup can, which is this guy right here. Cab. Works out. Perfect. Okay, the next set says, determine whether the statement is true or false. Okay, let's just do a few and then I'll leave you a few, okay? So it says, CDHG is a face of the prism. So let's find out where CDHG is at. So CDHG. So is this a face of this prism? So is it a side of it? It sure is. True. A prism only has 1 base. Well, what do we write right here? A prism has how many bases, you guys? 2. So that is false, because a pyramid has 1 base, not a prism. Six, it says A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. So this top guy, and E, F, G, H, E, F, G, H, the bottom, are possible bases for the prism. I think we can agree that those 2 shapes, those 2 rectangles are the same, so those could be possible bases. So that would also be true. Okay, I'm going to let you try those 3 on your own. If you have questions, you just will Zoom or we'll meet or whatever we need to do, but try these 3 on your own, okay? Now let's shimmy down and see what's left on this little worksheet on the front side. Okay, it says tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. If so, identify the shape of the bases, then name the solid. Perfect, we can do this. So remember, a polyhedron is the one that's made up of straight sides. So if I look here, is this made up of straight sides? Yep, it sure is. And then we need to identify the shape of the base. If I look, here's my bottom base. Here's my top base. What shape is that, you guys? It is a rectangle. Then name the solid. So since it has 2 bases, we know it's a prism. So its name would be a rectangular prism. That's it. Okay, you guys try these ones and I'll give you a hint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5-sided figure is a pentagon. Okay, just try this one. It says name the polyhedron, then count the number of faces and edges. So let's start with its name. So remember, we name it by its base shape. So what's my base shape down here? So if I count how many sides this bottom has, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, we said a 6-sided figure is called a hexagon. So this would be a hexagonal prism. So it has two bases. It has an equal top and a bottom. Now I'm looking for how many faces it has. So how many sides? Oops. Base is a C. Sorry, kids. So how many sides? So I have a top and a bottom. So that's 1, 2. Now we have to count up the walls of our prism. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 faces. And then how many edges? So we have to count all the little lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, you guys try 14, 15 on your own. Let's flip it to the back and see what we have. Okay. It says, how many faces and edges does a box of cereal have? How many faces and edges does a box of cereal have? So I think that's like a rectangular prism. So it would have, we can use this cube as an example. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to tell. But you would have, let me grab a marker real quick, you guys. Okay. Okay, let's count the number of faces. So it'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, top, 5, bottom, 6. So it would have 6 faces. And then edges, you guys, we've got to count all these little sides. So think, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges. And if that was super confusing, I'm sorry. Here I can draw a quick little picture. This is what we were pretty much doing, you guys. That is our shape. I suck at drawing. Okay. What is next? Tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. If so, identify the shape of the bases. Okay, remember, has to be not rounded. Has to be straight sides. So this is not a polyhedron. Because it's rounded, but this would be a cone. Tell whether, so you guys try those ones, see how they go. Tell whether the statement is true or false. A rectangular prism has 2 bases, right? Any prism does have 2 bases, so that is true. A triangular prism has 2 bases. Again, if it's a prism, it has 2 bases, so true. The bases of prisms are congruent, polygons. Well, let's look here. Does this triangle look congruent to this one? Sure does. True. A cone has 2 bases. Does this cone have 2 bases? No. False. A sphere is a polyhedron. Is this made up of straight sides? No. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys match. You guys can match. I think you can handle that. So match these letters with whatever picture. And then we'll do one of these ones from the bottom, and then I'll set you free on your own. It says name the polyhedron, then count the number of faces and edges. Okay, we can do this. Okay, if I look at this one, remember, if we name it, you name it by its base shape. My base down here is a rectangle, and it's coming to 1 point, so it is a rectangular prism. Oh, I lied. Pyramid. Count the number of faces and edges. So if we do faces, I have a bottom, and now we have to count the walls that build up our pyramid. So I have a bottom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our edges, gotta count all those little lines that make up our pyramid. So if I do the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good work, team. We will be in touch soon. If you get to a question that you don't know how to do, put like a little circle or question mark by it, and then we can do it together when we go live. Talk to you soon.